Everything I do, they gotta have it.
Welcome once again. This is ExCons for Trump live on Intellectual Radio. That's ExCons for Trump live on Intellectual Radio. Remember, live calling 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. We got the T. That's what they say. We got the T. And this is what's happening. I'm going to go right on in, and because I know at this point, I got a lot to say, and I always seem to never get it out, right? So I'm going to start by saying thank you all for tuning in, especially I'm looking at the people on the Facebook Live. And thank you all for looking in every week, Tuesday and Thursday. We even last week got quite a few new people that was tuning in. And I really need y'all to go to IntellectualRadio.com and start subscribing and sharing the page. IntellectualRadio.com. Go like it and subscribe to the page. ExCons for Trump Live is what you're watching. I'm Tyrone Muhammad, of course. And at this point, we already know what it is. I want to talk about just early. I haven't heard much about this assassination attempt. I was looking at the news like from the different, like the perspectives are so warped. Just the fact that just for merely exercising your right to a public office, right, and to have a requisite view about how you should run that office, and listen to all the vitriol that's stoked on one side versus the other side, or vice versa. And we never really get down to policies. Like, I'm never hearing them saying that Donald Trump policies are not good for us. I'm talking about overall. The only two issues that I always hear as it relates to Donald Trump is deportation. And that's real. That's one of his major talking points. What's the other one? He's gonna stop our women right to choose. He's gonna stop the woman's. He's gonna violate the woman's body and her rights to her body, right? So I'm looking at all these fear tactics. Oh, he's against gender and the LGBTQ community. I hear those things all the time, and it's so funny, because I remember watching Donald Trump, and I saw him all over. In Hollywood, he was hanging with LGBTQ members. He actually supported and gave them money. I'm talking about real Hollywood people that has been openly declared themselves lesbian or gay. He was their friends. What is it? 6 to 8 years ago? I say, what is it? 12 years ago? He was some of their best friends. He was invited to those parties. And they came to his parties. I'm just thinking about all these issues. I'm trying to figure out is outside of Donald Trump, because they always talking about Project 25 to 2025. Is that it? And they always talking about that policy as though that is his policy. As though it is his policy. They are not his policies. Those are not. That's the Heritage Foundation. But what I'm hearing is, yeah, I mean, personally, there's a lot of points in that Project 2025 that I agree with. And probably some of those points, some of the Democratic brothers and sisters agree with. But yet we'll use anything to stoke fear. Instead of getting these individuals on board to talk about the issues that most affect our community. That's what we need to be talking about. The issues that most affect our community, we don't hear it. Even when I see them talk, the news media or just in reporters in general, they never ask Kamala Harris about any issues as it relates to us. How do you fix unemployment, Miss Harris? How do you fix it? See, I came from a family, and my aunt, my mom, and my this is how they start off. This is how they start to answer those questions. Then you know they finna lie. They about to scapegoat the situation. They not gonna even talk about it. They're gonna sugarcoat it, and they'll never address the issue or answer the question that the reporter just posed. Those are emotional. Um, those are emotional. Just conversations to divert your attention away from the fact that she didn't even answer the question. How would you fix violence, Vice President Kamala Harris? How would you fix violence? How would you deal with that? What are the root causes of that? Do you suppose that uh, lack of unemployment and 70% of America, or more than 70% of high unemployment rates, and more than 70% of America's cities have anything to do with that? And how you propose to fix the unemployment rate of the young men that's actively involved with a lot of the shootings, carjackings, home invasions, smash and grabs of the ages 18 to 24, whose um, um, unemployment rate is over 70%. How you propose to tackle that? How you propose to tackle inefficiencies in our school system? How do you tackle that? Where kids, I don't even know the grade level. I don't even know what grade level we reading at in our community. A third grade level. We're reading at a third grade level. At what class? I mean, at what age? It's like high school, grammar school. It's like I mean, then they got an argument about private schools with public funds. Why can't I take my money and find a better teacher solution for my children? I probably think they did better in front of the computer screen at home during COVID. I'm just trying to say, man, what is it? What questions would we ask her? How do we deal with mass incarceration? How do we deal with recidivism? How do we reduce recidivism rates? I think a lot of that got to do with unemployment too. Like that would be one of the reasons why a lot of people commit crime. A lot of people commit crimes trying to create a living for themselves because crime has become a profession. Crime has become an opportunity where there's no opportunity. I'm gonna say that again. Crime presents itself as an opportunity where there is no opportunity. When we was coming up, there was so many ways to make money as a teenager. You remember? Earl? I mean, older people, our elder brothers and sisters, they encouraged us to cut grass. They encouraged us. I used to make, I think, Earl, when I was about 7, 8, or 9, or 10 years old. I don't quite remember. But there was this lady, I don't even remember her name. I'm sure she passed and gone to heaven. I I used to, she said, check on me, knock on my door, see if I need the garbage taken out. And she would give me, back then, to take the garbage out, $1, $2 was some good money. Every day I would knock on that woman's door, Earl, and see if she had garbage. She said, boy, you just took my garbage out yesterday. If I'm making that much garbage, this old woman making that much garbage, that's a problem. She said, come see me in 2 days. And I would do that. And I mean, just that the elders in the community wanted to see you earning a living. And then we had lawn care service, Earl. I was like, I couldn't, I didn't, I didn't have a lawnmower. You know what I went to Ace Hardware and bought me, Earl? You know them push mowers with the blade spin when you push the wheels, when you push it? And I would cut a hole. I'm talking about, I would cut a lot of grass with that blade. It was not only cutting the grass, but I was getting physical exercise. I was getting physical exercise with that blade because it didn't even cost at the time. I think it was like $5 to $7 or $10 to buy one of those. And I was pushing. I saved my money to buy one. And I would cut the grass. Ladies said, "Where your lawnmower at?" Here it is. and man, I took pride and I didn't have a blower. They got lazy workers now. I didn't have a blower. I had to brush and had a push broom. I had to take the push broom and push the excess grass and debris in there, then clean it up with a dustpan, put it in a garbage can. I'm only saying that our youth and the unemployment rate, there's no innovative ideas or approaches that I have seen to put our young people to work. But you know what I do see in every corner, in every community in Chicago? I see weeds growing out of the concrete. I see weeds and grass growing out of concrete. I see trees growing out of concrete, Earl. You know how long a weed have to sit in the concrete to become a tree? Do y'all understand how long a weed have to sit in the cracks of a concrete to become a tree? What that tell me is that there's a lot of work to be done in the communities. I see so much money going out on policing to lock these young men and boys up. But the same money is not given out and put in the street to prevent them from going to prison in the first place. That's kind of I think it should start with prevention before it starts with policing. I think if you create a lane of prevention, I would just one time, Earl, I would love to hear a politician where it's not being about violence prevention, putting money in the streets and that when that doesn't fully work. It does some good, but it doesn't put jobs in the community of the young men who we are stopping from carjacking, home invasions, shootings, robberies. It doesn't give them opportunity. It doesn't teach them work, give them work skills, because most of them are unemployable. You can't employ them. They don't even know how the ethics of being employed. It's like um, who stands before Congress, the government, and say, "Hey, we have to figure out a way to put our young people in America into some type of employable skill or training program that actually lead to employment." We spend billions on mass incarceration. We spend billions on policing. We don't spend enough on mental health. We don't spend enough on housing because there's too many homeless Americans. Yet we have housing for everyone else. So I just looked, and I want to say in that without diverting too much, what questions do we ask candidates that's really viable and heart-wrenching? And wait on a real answer without all the vitriol on both sides. They talk about each other to deflect that they don't have an idea or strategy to help your communities win. They don't have an idea or a strategy that's viable enough or that they could grasp enough that makes sense. They don't even know how to lie about what they could do for you. Live call in 708-223-89 8953. That's 708-223-8953. When I come back from break, I want to talk to you all about these initiatives we got coming up in the next week or two. So I want y'all to come on back and share your comment or thought in that regards. But on anything that I just said. But the live call in 708-223-8953. Thank y'all for tuning in. This is ExCons4Trump Live.
Everything look better in black. 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 So turn off the lights.
I see they watching me. I see they watching me. I see they watching me. I see they watching me.
So turn off the lights.
Welcome back to ExCons4Trump Live on Intellectual Radio. 708-223-8953. That's 708-223-8953. Intellectual Radio. Please go support, share, and subscribe to IntellectualRadio.com. Black owned, people. Black owned. How many long you been here? The radio, Intellectual Radio, 15 years? 15 years, y'all. IntellectualRadio.com. We got to increase that subscription. We want to increase the membership, views, everything. We have to support Black-owned businesses. IntellectualRadio.com is a Black-owned radio station program. So I'm telling y'all, it's long overdue for us to be. I mean, y'all, it's okay to watch it. I see y'all on Facebook Live, but I need y'all to go. Anybody that follow me, please go to intellectualradio.com and subscribe, and also like it and share it so that we can increase the viewership, right, and the listenership. And it's real. It's just long overdue for us to. It's gonna take us to save us. So we gotta support us. It's gonna take us to build and create and establish true institution. IntellectualRadio.com is a true institution. Man, Earl sweat and blood been put in this, and tears. And tears. I had never seen a man. Hey, and you know the crazy part about Earl, I'm gonna tell y'all, if y'all don't know him, this man here, he would do all these programs. Go on intellectualradio.com and look at all the programs on there. This man would do all the programs. He and Wanda and his staff. Look, this man would be here and dedicated. See, that's why I love Earl. He just as dedicated as I am. I don't care if I'm the one-man army or 1,000. I'm gonna still be on the front line for my own stuff, right? And then he'll go to work. This man do this all day, then go to work as a supervisor somewhere else. Hey man, you got to tell me, man, that's dedication and him believing in the vision, man, of what they've been able to build. And I just had to give that shout out. That is very important. and most people don't even know Earl. And he been here 15 years doing this thing. Earl, I probably would have quit by then. I'm telling you, man, this is a hard work, man. Y'all, just the name alone should be special for us. Intellectual radio. Ain't nobody coming on here talking about a lot of foolishness. What P. Diddy doing? You better worry about your own household. You worry about P. Diddy. Man, I've never seen so much gossip and BS, man, in my life. People got time to worry about somebody else's bedroom and household and everything else. Clearly the law enforcement got him. It's time for us to get busy because the law enforcement need to get some of these politicians in the city. I ain't lying. Y'all think I'm lying. That's what y'all should be talking about, the criminal activity of what happened to us with this migrant crisis. There has to be some criminal activity there. You can't make me believe that it's okay to give over $200 million away to non-citizens. And we're starving and suffering in this city. You can't make me believe that. You can't make me believe that with all of the stuff that's going on in this city, all the violence, all the crime, you got money to give to them, but you don't have money to fix the terrorism that's happening in our community. Earl, it's terrorism. It's truly terrorism. Because you got people won't even come out their house. You know why they're being it's terrorism? Well, every time I hear them talking about the population decrease, you done terrorize people out their own city. You know, everybody, even in my household, we even be talking about, man, we got to leave Chicago. It's like you have made this city so bad, the city that we love, the city we love and appreciate, we're destroying it. Not to mention, we don't know who's over here, Earl. Whom or who. We don't know who's over here. You releasing criminals in America through the borders without ever having a compliance check. I'm talking about, we don't know who these people are. We really don't. And we're not talking about the beautiful little babies I've been able to see and play with. Like, they have no clue of what's going on, Earl. They just following their parents or the smugglers. They following smugglers or their parents. We have no clue. They have no clue. Our issue is not with these little babies. Our issue is with these grown folks. Earl, you mentioned something. And I've heard it so many times. How does Sanctuary City serve black people? Hey, I want to hear somebody. You don't call for nothing else. Please explain to me, how does Sanctuary City serve you as a black person? How does it serve the city? But how does it serve you? Because I didn't vote for it. And what does it mean? We have to start asking ourselves serious and poignant questions. And the other question is, why do we accept all of these policies without ever fighting back against them? But then once the policy happened, Earl, we down the city hall hollering and crying and kicking. Once they decide that they're going to pass laws or do anything, we crying and hollering. But we never there. We don't hold our politicians accountable on the blocks and in the hood before they even go down there to formulate policy that ultimately hurt us. What is the solution? Our way here, and the reason in the inception of ExCons4Trump is and has been, we're not against anyone. I'm not against a party. I'm not for a party. In the national election, there's only two parties. there's only two parties that can actually win. Well, one can win, the other one will lose, for sure. But there's only two parties. This is why Kennedy, who ran as an independent, had to choose a side. Because the same people that would say to me, Earl, why am I ex-con for Trump, didn't support Kennedy, and he was an independent. Well, we could have do independent. Them people didn't support independence. But Kennedy himself has moved over because he felt that to Trump, because he felt that Trump policies and Trump position best serve America and its people. Why am I ex-con for Trump? Everyone know that has been following me for the last 7.5 years, I think, since 2017, my release date. I've never seen any policy that prevented reentry and recidivism at a high percentage rate. I haven't seen a policy that prevented men and women and boys and girls from going in and out of prison. I haven't seen a policy that properly dealt with returning citizens, men being released back in society to have a stronghold on life and to amalgamate back into society with housing, with a job opportunity or training or education. I haven't seen a policy that specifically was set up to do just that, especially while a man or a woman was on parole. And somebody can steal it if they want to, because if it served the people, I love it. Maybe one of the politicians will say it. Why are these men and women on parole? Our government, our society, our communities should, for those 3 years that these men and women, mostly it's 3 years or 1 year, but for however many years those men and women are on parole, it is on our government, our taxpayers, to fund transition, to fund a proper transition and amalgamation back into society. Because ultimately, if we don't take care of them after housing them for all them years, they will recidivate. They can go back to the criminal activity that they was accustomed to, because ultimately it's survival. It is ultimately survival that they're doing. They're exercising maneuvers of survival in whatever form that looks like. If it looked like home invasion, if it looked like smash and grab, if it looked like, you get the picture. And we're not saying that that's the only way to eat. I'm just telling you, often when men go back to prison, it's because they're searching for something, some form of living. Or it could be they're on drugs. And the only way they know how to get that fix is to harm others or to violate others. We have to start dealing with prevention. Prevention has to be made a serious notion in the eyesight and the mindset and the policies of our elected officials. Why am I ex-con for Trump? Because none of this stuff has happened. And ex-cons representing and me representing my constituency base, 20 million ex-felons, Earl, in America. You hear me? Parole or been incarcerated, or 20 million in America. But 80 million over together, plus the 20 million, over 80 million justice involved individuals. That means everybody that maybe they didn't go to jail, but they've had a brush with the law and the criminal justice system that didn't actually lead to prison time or parole, but maybe it led to an anger management course. You know what I'm saying? Maybe it led to substance abuse center or something for substance abuse. Maybe it led a treatment center. Maybe it led to mental health treatment. See, all that is just as involved. That just didn't lead necessarily to them going to prison. These things are very serious. But remember this, ExCons4Trump. We have a vote. Our vote matters. Ex-felons have a right to vote in America. I think only 7 states, 6 or 7 states prevent ex-cons from voting. 6 or 7 states. And hopefully by the time we're done with this election and pushing our agenda and pushing our class and cast of individuals to the polls, and they see an influx in these polls, and they see an influx in ex-felons voting and getting off the couch, they see an influx, then they would take us more serious, Earl. They would see, maybe that would spark reformation. Maybe that would spark an opportunity to revisit in those 7 states. Why are we denying the human right of the vote? Why are we denying American citizens the right to the vote? And then hopefully by then we'll be able to change the mindset of elected officials in those states. And I think most of those states are Republican-led states. I believe it is. I'm almost certain that those are Republican-led states. See, I don't have a problem pointing out that side don't get it right at all the time. Nor do the other side get it right all the time. But with our agitation and our persistence and making sure, and we don't go down in history and nothing else but they're motivating and inspiring men to exercise their right to the vote and thereby exercising their right to power. Because the vote will remove individuals who have violated us from power. That vote is real. That vote is real. I got quite a few people on the line. Let me see. I just saw a few. Slavery behind the wall, money's being produced. The corporations are prisons. See, that's a big problem, Earl. That would be another question that I would ask my elected officials. How do you feel about private prisons? Should companies and corporations profit off the ills and issues of society in the form of bodies? Should corporations be able, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris, should corporations be able to profit off of should corporations be able to profit off of bodies? Should bodies of the American citizens be put on stocks and bonds and what's that? Should our bodies be used as a tool for corporations? Period. To enrich themselves off the ills and issues of the people. Should that happen? Is that okay? What you think about it, Donald Trump, Kamala Harris? I'm talking about real viable issues. We know that under the Trump administration, we get the First Step Act that released thousands of men back into society. We know that already. We also know that under Kamala Harris, thousands of men were incarcerated. But I often ask myself, do those people that prosecute these men and women, Earl, ever wonder what happens to them after they go home? Like, if I prosecute somebody for raping a kid or a woman, and as a prosecutor who prosecuted that person, guess what I want to know, Earl? What community he going to? How is it? What was his rehabilitative faculties and functions, and why he was in prison? What level of education did he achieve, Earl, while he was in prison? What did he frequent church? Did he go to the mosque while he was in church? I mean, in prison? Did he go to the synagogue? What did he do? Earl, you know, when I was in prison, I didn't have to do anything but sit in the cell for 24 hours a day. I didn't even have to come out to eat if I didn't want to. So how are those called correctional facilities? If I don't have to do anything, I don't have to do anything. I can sit in the prison all day and just play cards, dominoes, look at girls, smut books, eat, get fat, have a heart attack, and your tax dollar gonna pay for my surgery. How much is a heart transplant or heart surgery? How much is that? You're gonna pay for that, your tax dollars. So while we don't pay attention to the issues and ills of mass incarceration, we still pay for it. You still pay for the bodies that languish in prison, whether you pay attention or not. Your tax dollars sponsors and pay for that madness. And then guess what happened? Under these political parties and directors of prisons and public safety advocates, these bodies are released back into society, often worse than when they went in. I'm going to say it again. Most men that come from prison are released back into society worse off than when they went in. And guess what they're released back into? They're not released back into the Gold Coast. They're not released back into Highland Park. They're not released into Kenilworth, what is it? Winnetka, Glencoe, with Matt. They released right back into Lawndale, Woodlawn, Roseland, Inglewood, Auburn Gresham, even back of the yard, Humble Park. They released back in those communities to terrorize and to continue most often the criminal activity that led them there in the first place. That got to be something that we push back on as citizens who actually continue to vote these people back in office. See, if they were smart, they would listen to me. They steal anyway. They would say, you know what? And now, Earl, when I get ready to run, they're going to be talking about this is what they'll do. Yeah, good. Now, give me a formulation of how you plan to get at it. It's not enough to repeat what somebody say if it's not really as a serious issue or serious intention to fix it. I'm very clear that our current state and our current elected officials don't have what it takes to serve you. I'm gonna say it again, and you can tell them I said it. Tell Tyrone said it. If you scared to repeat it, your current elected officials, I'm not gonna say all of them, because there's no all or anything. Some of them just scared, but they got good will and good intention. They caught up in a party politics. They can't say or do anything. They have caucus, and they have committees that they can't even produce the best for you in your community from those committees. You tell them I said that they are not fit to hold office or position. And I can go down the line if I wanted to and name every one of them. I'm not even making it. It's not personal. It's just that they not qualified. Who is that? Somebody just something come up that I thought. Wow. The talk is about Diddy. By the time I'm speaking, the word y'all should be speaking on the radio stations, down the hall, in the streets, instead of the daily nonsense you hear every day. Thank you, Caesar. That's real. We have to speak about the issues that are affecting our community, our family, our pocketbooks, our bottom line. We are suffering in these communities. Forget how we look. People are. How long we been looking good, Earl? You know, man. You know the crazy thing I seen, Earl, that I was looking at some of them old black and white pictures. Man, we was cleaner with suits, ties, shirts, and shoes than the young homies I clean today with their pants hanging down, t-shirt, and Timberlands. Man, we was cleaner with no money. Earl, look. Ain't no way, Earl. Where did we get these suit of clothes from? Is it like they had to sew some of that, Earl? It's no way we was able to afford those clothes. I'll be seeing some of these pictures of our family members looking all sharp and dressed up. I'm talking about they had hats on. They had nice shiny shoes that wasn't ran over. They were seriously clean. Our resources and our money, I think back then we didn't waste a lot. I don't think we wasted a lot, Earl, back then. I think we didn't live above our means. You had a few people. We didn't live beyond our means. But getting back to what I was saying, a lot of them are not qualified to lead us. Yeah, you talk, why Tyrone say ExCons4Trump? At least I took a position to say it's not about Trump. It's about us forcing policy that affects us and not continue to vote just because somebody is a party. You want me to hear it again? It's about us forcing policies and not a party. Party politics has violated the masses of the people. In party politics, only a few individuals win. I'm going to say it again. Party politics only produces for a few people. And then it goes on and they switch seats, and then the next change of guards, the same cronies come in from the last 4 administrations ago, and they just keep switching. And that's why Donald Trump say, I got to drain the swamp. Donald Trump say he gonna drain the swamp. I can't wait. I can't wait till he drain the swamp, because it is filthy in this city. I'm talking about 2% contracts for black people. Ain't no way in the world that's legal. No way in the world should black people, with all these black elected officials, are you listening to me, Earl? There's no way in the world, with all these black elected officials, that black people got 2% of contracts. It may be less, man. I think it's 1 now. It may be 0.9. It can't be, I can't see it. 2%. I think a report came out and said that. 2% of all the contracts. Guess what else we have? Over 60% or 70% of all the murders. We have 2% of all the contracts. That means it's going to white men and others. And we got 70% of all the murders against each other. Guess what else we have? Most of the unemployment rate. Most of the unemployment rate is against our community. I ain't got a lot of time left today, but on this program. But the unemployment rate, I guarantee you, lead to a lot of the issues and ills and violence. So how do we fix the unemployment rate? You can't fix it. Now, y'all listening? Because you don't have the right people in office to do so. You can't fix it. That's why we start talking about after this presidency with this 50 days left or so. We're going to work because you have to get at ex-cons for this alderman. Now it's going to be ex-cons for this congressperson. Now it's going to be ex-con for this senator. Now it's going to be ex-cons for this state rep. See, the ex-con 4 is going to continue to push the political agenda, and we're going to be very effective in doing it in these wards. Because now, I don't have to deal with a national election, Earl. I have a local committee that we can, a ward now, that we can push on. Guess what most of those ex-cons go? Back to some of these same wards that they was plucked from. These wards got full of ex-cons. Now we got to get them motivated enough to see that they got as much power as women have to vote for their right to choose. They got enough power as the LGBTQ has to vote for their right to with their sexual orientation and genders. Now you got enough right as a returning citizen to say, I want to be restored to useful citizenship and given the viable opportunity to win, strive in the land of free, the home, and the brave. That is real. They say these words. See how they sound? The land of the free, the home of the brave. While everybody else benefit from free money. Everybody else benefit from free money while our communities suffer. It's enough to make you cry. I'm going to say that again a few more times in like 5 minutes or so I have. Everybody else benefit from free money and handouts. We are called lazy. You lazy. You don't know, no, it won't work for you. This guy said that in the city council. I'm glad I wasn't there. Y'all lazy. Our benevolence allow everybody to eat off our dead flesh. Our benevolence as black people, as a people, allow everybody to eat off of us. Every foreigner come in our community and eat off of us, and then he stands. He don't stand and say, I really respect y'all right to be upset about us getting this free money and none. I really wish if they gave us 51 million, they should have gave y'all 102 million. If they gave us 51 million, they should have gave black people 102 million. Man, there was no mention of nothing coming to us. None, and there's still no mention. I haven't seen or heard Mayor Johnson talk about what he has for black people in these communities. Man, I'm clear, and I'm going to increasingly be clear that all we have for black people in America and all we have for black people in the inner cities of America and all we have for my city, Chicago, are graveyards and prison. And increasingly, black women are being put in a graveyard at a rate more than we've ever seen in the history of us living in this city. And our babies, as Tracy always say, who care about the kids? Black children are being murdered every day and starving and homeless and going to school hungry. If I was ever elected into a position of leadership or ever elected in an elected position, Earl, and I hope saying this will make some of them do it, I will visit at least in a time of a month, course of a month, I will visit 100 homes and make myself present in 100 or more homes on top of all my activities as an elected official, and look at these and document it. Like, our people, our community, our citizens are starving. Do they have a refrigerator? I will make these businesses partners with me to fix these communities, to fix our citizens' homes, to provide a couch, a chair, to provide a refrigerator, a deep freezer, to provide a microwave. I will make them, because I will go in them homes and see how people live in. How you an elected official and you don't go into the lease of these homes, the homes of the lease of these? Because they're too busy being socialites. They too busy standing in front of cameras with their pompous friends and their pompous fellow elected official pontificating about what's needed instead of on the ground creating the changes necessary, even when the government don't vote your way, even though you don't have the votes to get what you need. If you galvanize and rally the people, you have everything you need, but they don't care about the people. They don't care about the people. The people is not even real. They don't care. The people are just tools for this, a stepping stone for them to their next career. And I'm just saying this is sad. And I'm talking to my family out there. I'm talking to y'all. It's time for us to reconsider why it is that we continue to hold on perpetually to a party that don't put forth any real issues to transform your life, that doesn't put forth any real solutions to transform your life. These parties are not solution driven. They don't accommodate you and what it is that you need, what you need to function in America. Everybody, I'm telling you, when I was at that Wadsworth school, when I went to jail that day, and I went there just to say, hey, I'm not going to just stand by and watch y'all do this without going to jail. I wanted to cry, because that same school, just like South Shore, we asked, can we use that school so we can do real manhood training of young men and boys? Can we use that school so we could perform real behavior modification of the hearts, minds, and thoughts? Hearts of these young men and boys. Can we use that school as a place in a sanctuary? Isn't this a sanctuary city? Can we use that school as a sanctuary for at-risk youth who just need to escape from their abusive house? That means girls too. Can we use them schools? And we're told no. The South Shore School, we was told we can use it alongside when the police was using it. when Lori Lightfoot was here. What y'all think happened to that? We fought for them to keep it from being a migrant home. I'm telling you, it's enough to make you want to cry. It's enough to make you want to give up. If I'm feeling like that, and I fight all the time. I agitate all the time and feel like I don't want to agitate no more. What you think the people feel like? That don't have no strength, that's weak, and you wonder why they don't show up for nothing? Because they broken. Chicago, they broke us. They broke you. We are broken people. That's why everybody can eat off of us and our dead, broken flesh. We are so broke. Everybody eats off of our dead flesh. Everybody. And then tell you with fear tactics and scare tactics, don't go over there to that other party because they going to kill you. Man, I'm telling you, we dying every day in Chicago. What are you talking about? How you afraid of trying something new and different when you dying every day? And even in that affluent neighborhood that black people think they are safe, they're not. They're not. It's a shame. You got to watch every corner, everywhere, Earl. Even coming out your garage, man. Your garage is supposed to be a safe haven for your car and your belongings, but your garage become a damn entrapment for your abuse or potential robbery. It's so much going on that they'll never call you, listening, me, to the table for a solution because they don't want none. And with that being said, this is ExCons4Trump live on Intellectual Radio. I'm your host, Tyrone Muhammad. And remember, we here every Tuesday and Thursday. And believe me, you're going to see over the next 2 weeks or so, you're about to see a lot of offensive and ground game and stuff and strategy that we partake in this city and across this country to get Mr. Trump elected. ExCons4Trump live, Intellectual Radio. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next week.